And Coach Jeff Monken on the practice field, back at work for the 2019 season. How have the first 2 days of practice gone for you and the team?
We've been pleased with the effort of our guys. We've had a split practice, so the rookies are going before the veterans. They're just learning to practice right now. I thought day two was much better than day one. Uh, I thought for our veterans, day two was better than day one. Just again meeting the standards that we've got for the way we practice, even though we're only in shorts and helmets. Just practicing fast and with the kind of effort and attention to detail that we want. So we'll hopefully continue to improve.
With your veterans, do you have key priorities? Is it conditioning? Is it going through the playbook, or do you have competitions at key spots that you're looking at?
Oh, we're already looking at competition and seeing who's going to rise up at some spots. And I think there's some guys that probably we thought going into camp we're going to be the guy if it all played out like we thought, and we're starting to see some guys that have come up behind them that I think are challenging them. I think that healthy competition is good for our team, and it's good at every position. So uh, we'll evaluate that as we go through camp. Our guys are conditioned; they're ready. We don't need to do any conditioning. We do like to practice hard and try to prepare them for playing that way for 60 minutes. But it's just the way we practice. And Connor Hughes and our strength staff, they really do a great job of having our guys prepared in terms of their condition. And then in the summertime, our guys, they come out and work on their own. One of the great things about our team is they are such tremendous leaders, and they care about each other. So they organize their own practices in the summertime so that they can run routes and do some one-on-ones, whether it's the O-line and D-line or the receivers and the DBs. So it's impressive to know that those guys are doing those things on their own to kind of prepare for preseason camp.
I mean, for you guys now, obviously, with these first couple of weeks and the progression, what are the things that you usually want to see from the team as a whole?
I just want to see great attitude and great effort. Those are the only two things that we really can control. And so I'm looking for the best in those two areas every time we're out here.
For you guys now, obviously, it was a successful preseason in terms of the awards you guys are racking up both individually and as a team, just finishing outside of the coaches poll. Just talk about, the expectations for this year and maybe some of the goals that you guys are starting to work on to exceed what the already lofty goals that you had last year but were able to exceed.
I'll let these guys choose the goals. We'll do that at the end of camp. Right now our goal every day is, as I said, come out here with a great attitude and practice with great effort. As for all the preseason, whatever, naming this guy, naming that guy, that doesn't make any difference. Nobody's going to, spot us any points in a game because we got a guy that got nominated for some award. And I think there's a lot of teams in America that got a bunch of really good players on their team that are getting nominated for things like that, deservingly so. And so we're not any different than anybody else. We're a bunch of guys that got to play hard and be tough and play great fundamentally. And if we do those things, then we'll give ourselves at least a fighting chance.
From these couple of weeks of preseason camp and then going into those first couple of practices, heading into Rice on the 30th, what's the biggest or one or several things that you really want to see out of your team in terms of getting themselves ready for that big game?
Come together. Everybody do their job, embrace their role, and do their job. I got to do that too. I got to do my job the best I can and hope that everybody else in the program will embrace their role and do the best that they can. And if we all do our job and do it the best we're capable of doing, I think that'll be good enough.
Coach, I know you got really excited for the one-on-one drills today. I saw you sprinting across the field. Can you tell me just what you think of those drills and how it makes your team better?
I love competition. Anytime we can compete, I think it's important. So there's a lot of times throughout the practice, more when we get into having more equipment on tomorrow and shells and certainly when we get into full gear, we're doing some group work and 11-on-11 stuff. I love the competition. I was really glad to see Malcolm Morrison for the second day in a row make some really good plays in the one-on-one period, and he picked that pass off, read the route really well, and so shoot, that's fun. It's fun to watch a guy like that make a play.
What do you think of his chances of cracking the lineup this year? I know.
He'll help us.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how it's going to play out in preseason camp, who the starters will be. And as I said, I think healthy competition is good. That they're competing, and it's not something where there's animosity within a unit. That they're all pulling for each other, but they're all competing really hard to be the starter. And I'm confident that if Malcolm continues to improve and play the way he has, not just in the first couple of days of camp, but over the course of the spring, he's going to find his way into the games doing something, whether it's special teams or as a starting corner or as a nickel or something. He'll probably find his way into the game.
Is there anyone else that stood out to you in those competitions that you had today?
I thought John Radigan had a really good day yesterday. He had two picks in our 7-on-7. Skelly. We've had some guys make some really good catches. I saw KJ Klein make a really good catch in one-on-ones down there on a deep ball. I saw Brandon Walters make a really good catch. It was on the ground, and he kind of dug it out of the ground and made a nice catch. So there's a lot of guys out here making plays. It's hard to tell when you're in shorts, like I said. So we'll find out more tomorrow, I think.
And then are there any quarterbacks that are really standing out aside from Hopkins, of course?
Kelvin's having a good camp. He's had a couple bonehead mistakes. He'll tell you himself that he's probably regretful some of the decisions he's made. Good news is we weren't playing somebody else, so hopefully he'll learn from those mistakes. I think Christian Anderson's doing a great job. He worked incredibly hard this summer. Our strength coach is just raving about him. He won about every sprint of every conditioning drill that they did, and just worked really, really hard. So I'm as excited to see that. Jabari Laws, I thought, had a really good spring, and he looks good out here right now when we're in shorts. So we'll find out more, like I said, as we get going.
Coach, we were at our day with all the 1,100 freshmen arrived and your players. How have the freshmen stood out so far? There are players you feel may be able to help you this year, and how did they do going through basic training?
They did a really good job. We didn't lose any freshmen of the guys that we brought in, any of our freshman football players during basic training. They all made it through, and it's taxing and tiring and physically and mentally demanding, but that's one of the things about this place that I think is valuable. It tests your will, and it's the road less traveled, and we know there's great reward in that if you're willing to do that, and our guys certainly have committed to what's hard, and I admire them for that, but it also, I think, forges a toughness in us. There's going to be some of those freshmen that'll play. It's too early to say which ones it'll be, but we're already seeing some guys that we think are athletic and physical, and we'll find out more when we really get a chance to get them into some situations where they've got a supporting cast that knows what they're doing and knows who they're blocking and got guys next to them, and then we'll find out if they can help us on Saturdays.
Talked to Cole Christensen about going down to Fort Bragg. Many of your upperclassmen went out with the Army. What did they learn from that experience going out with the Army and different training experiences?
I think it's an invaluable experience for them to be able to just find out what the big Army looks like, what kind of jobs they'll be doing, what officers in their rank of second lieutenant and then first lieutenants and captains and then beyond. If they decide to stay in the Army, what that's going to look like, the responsibilities they'll have, how many soldiers they'll be leading, and get to see some really neat things in the Army and experience some unique things that they don't have an opportunity to here at West Point. All of our guys get a chance to see Fort Bragg, which is an enormous Army post, and people there are doing all kinds of different jobs, and that's one of the neat things about the Army is there are so many different kinds of jobs that you can do as an Army officer. It really exposes them to that.
Glad the off season is in the past and you're back on the field.
Thrilled to be back out here. I've been anxious to get back out here since last December.
Absolutely, Coach. Good to see you.